Yet, Rich DeLucia in relief facing Paul Molitor. 2 on for Molly, and Molitor comes through with a big blast, and it put the Blue Jays within just 1 of the M's.
Fernandez made 1 mistake. Gone. Darren Jackson leaves the yard in a hurry, and there's your game winner. The Blue Jays pick up the victory 1-0. Jackson says, I never get any fastballs coming over to the American League after
care of him. Joe Carter hammers this one out, a 2-run shot. The Blue Jays win at 8-6. Roberto Alomar had 4 hits. The Jays
6-zip, and facing Paul Molitor, he has not been pitching that well. That is an example. I don't think it's playable. 1-0 Jays. Into the second, Darnell Coles, who could be a valuable player.
Jam, a man on, Joe Carter, goes deep for the 250th time in his career. As for McDonald, he would go on to give up 4 home runs in 4 innings.
In a 1-1 game, Roberto Alomar hits it up, and this is going to get just over the wall and right for a 2-1 Toronto lead.
The Yankee game today. Mike Witt pitching. Tell you what, the Blue Jays seem to always be together in Yankee Stadium. I mean, there's every series they go double digits once. That's Paul Molitor with a homer. And then next batter up, Joe Carter. Back. Gone. His 12th, 2-0 Toronto. For Mike Witt, it got worse. Top of the second with a man on. Devo whips it good. Sends it deep to center. Gerald Williams gives it a go. Gives it a good go. Just over his glove. Devo's 3rd homer makes it 6-1 Toronto. Scott Kamenicki on in relief, no relief. John Olerud hits a home run. His 5th of the year, 9-1 Jays. It's back to the Jays. Why did they get Paul Molitor this season? Well, because he too would hit 2 homers in this game. 10-4 Toronto. But this is Paul Molitor.
In the second, top of the 3rd, John Olerud against Storm Davis. Gave up 5 runs. He's still in there. And it's out of here again. This looks like a Rockies game. It's 6-6. Bottom of the 3rd. Can I go home? Top of the 6th. Ed Sprague off Goose Gossage. You knew that was going to happen. We're tied at 11. Top of the
Leo Valera on the mound. Tough coming into this game, but not tough to Roberto Alomar, who takes Valera out of the park, puts Toronto up 2-0 right away in the 1st inning. Top of the 4th, Toronto up 3-1. Alomar again. The same thing. Another 2-run shot. Toronto led 5-1. Top of the 6th, though, things got very ugly.
Rude now. Meanwhile, Fernandez at the bat. 2 men aboard in the 4th. He takes David Haas out. A 3-run shot to the upper deck. Jays up 10-4. And
the blast. 4-0 Yanks, but Toronto comes back. Ed Sprague off of Melito Perez. Solo shot to left in the Jays deficit.
Olerud was 0-for-3 against him. Joe Carter picks up the slack, puts the Blue Jays up front 3-2 with his 16th home run of the year. But the Yanks would score 2 to 10.
Big crowd on hand. Scott Kamenicki looking for a 3rd good start. Doesn't get off to a good start. Devon White to center, and forget about it. His 20th career leadoff homer.
At 8th inning, Turner Ward at the plate. Cal Eldred with a 3-hitter. That's a 4-hitter. That's gone. His 4th, it's tied at 2. 9th inning, Eldred is still in. Hey, Joe Carter, a little revenge? Indeed. That's a solo shot, and you know how Cal Eldred feels. Maybe you shouldn't have got him into that double play. 3-2 the final. Jays back in 1st place. Up 2-zip in the 7th when Cone loses his head. Leading off and teeing off. Molitor, his 11th, and the lead is cut in half. 2 batters later, Cone head falls off again. John Olerud, the lead is gone, his 16th, and Cone is gone in the 8th. Bases jammed. Billy Brewer facing.
Cañate leading off against Hippolito Pichardo. Pichardo's 2nd pitch, gone. Cañate's 1st Major League home run wins the game for Toronto. He came into the game, Cañate did, 1 for 18.
In and 2 batters later, it's Randy Knorr going deep. This one leaves. It's a 3-run shot.
The All-Star team will pick it up with Fernandez on the mound. Scoreless in the 2nd, but not for long. The king of the road, John Olerud, to right field. His 18th homer. He had a shot going in to get back to the 400. Added 7 to the 9th. Chris Carpenter facing John Olerud to right field, and the ballpark would not hold it. The king of the road with 19 homers. The average back at an even 400.
Against Toronto, top of the 1st, Ryan and Joe Carter meet up. Joe Carter wins. His 19th 3-run job, 3-0 Jays. No one did not have it. Leading 7-6 in the 9th. What does this look like to you? An ordinary off the end of bat, opposite field Foul ball. Roberto Alomar began to think that, but it hit the pole. And though it dropped foul, it is fair. The game-winning
CO's John Olerud, 14-game hitting streak, 15-game hitting streak, and his 20th homer of the year. He went 1 for 2. He's hitting .403. The Jays had a 2-1. To the 6th, the Jays break out. A man on for Devo. A good pitch, a slider on the inside half of the plate. It hits the screen. A 2-run homer for Devon White, who's our bottom 3. Here's Paul Molitor. Watch this pitch by Jays. It's not that bad a pitch, just above the knees, and Molly turns it around. Part of a 3 RBI.
Third, Joe Carter. Gone. 2-run homer, 22nd on the year. The belt-high fastball, and he did exactly that, belted it. Roger
White leading off for Toronto. He's on first. Then Roberto Alomar steps up, and he smacks his 12th home run out of the ball yard to left field. So the Jays led by a score 2-0. Very next batter, that's Paul Molitor, and you're rooting for Ojeda still, facing Molitor. Well, Molitor wasn't rooting. He's rooting for a home run. He gets it deep to left center field. His 18th home run on the season, 82 RBIs in the year. So the Jays led 3-0. Not exactly the start Ojeda wanted. Ricky Henderson again sat this 6th inning we go. Bill Wirtz on in relief. John Olerud takes him out of the yard. His 21st home run of the year. Jays win it 4-1. Dwayne Ward picks up save number 32 on the year. The complete line on Bobby O.
So walked. Roberto Alomar batting .322, hits a 3-run homer, his 13th of the year. In fact, the Jays have the top 3 hitters in the league. Devon White led off the 7th with a solo homer to tie it at 6. The game got a little zany here as a fan comes out on the field and the security guard goes after him. Alomar's ball caught by Jay Buhner, but the ball is called dead. And Piniella argues and says you can't call the play dead because it was called after the pitch was thrown. Then another fan comes out on the field. Looks like a reject from the show Studs. Anyway, once they got to playing, Alomar singles.
Joe Carter, a man on a mission, rocks Albie Lopez in the very first inning for a home run. That's number 25 of the year for Joe. 2-2 after 1, and there would be more. Carter carried the Jays on his back, puts Toronto up 6 innings. Bottom of the 8th, it's Carter time again. He delivers. This is home run number 3 in the game with the bases empty. Jays down 9-8.
Tonight. And Julian Tavares gives up the home run ball here. A 2-run shot, so 4 homers in the last 5.
With a barrage of singles off Eric Hansen. It was Hansen who was shaky. First Darnell Colson, Ed Sprague, and then Randy Knorr. The bases are loaded for Roberto Alomar. Revenge time for Roberto. He had a double play his first time up. The second time going the opposite way for his first ever Grand Slam home run to put the Jays up 4-1.
Find out what happened. Yes, Ricky does have some friends in Oakland. Even though he doesn't, tonight would belong to Ricky as he jacks, yes, a home run to left field. His 18th of the season. This makes it 3-0 Toronto. Pat Henkin having another.
They're down and then up. 10-game road trip in Oakland looking for the sweep. And Ricky got him off quickly. That's his 63rd leadoff home run. He makes the grab. Then in the 3rd, Randy Knorr gives the Jays a bit of a cushion. 3-run homer off Moeller gives the Jays a 5-0 lead. Toronto wins it by a score of 8-3.
After Carter, come on, let's go. They tie the game at 5. They take a 6-5 lead to the 9th, and then off Mike Henneman, Fernandez continues to terrorize the Tigers. This 9th inning home run gives him 5 RBIs against the Tigers for the
first. Now later it's Devo. Are we not men? We are Devo with homers. 3-0 Jays. Just threw that in there, Fred. And look at Kevin Tapani. He didn't like
6-7. He kicks 6-8. Not high enough, though, for Roberto Alomar. See you later. Home run number 17 for Alomar. Gets out of the park to right. 1-0 Jays of a hit. To the 7th. Jays up 4-1. Minchie still in. Pat Porter says see you later, too. He breaks a 48-game homerless drought. 5-1 Jays as Minchie gets pinched. That doesn't rhyme, but I tried to force it. Teammates looking to ice this thing. Canadian fans even brought the flag with them. Molitor gets the Jays going early in the 2nd off of Cal Eldred, his 22nd of the year. Familiar surroundings for him. Jays lead 1-0. Got a sac fly, led 2-0. And that would be plenty for Pat Henkin. Here he freezes Greg Vaughn in the freezing rain. Dave Nilsson looking at a 3rd strike. And John Jaha, well, at least he swung the bat. Henkin struck out 7 6 2/3. Henkin also gets some fine defense as well. Tony Fernandez to the hole. The bloop throw to rob Greg Vaughn of a base hit. Then in the 9th, the closer, Dwayne Ward, in to finish it. The bubbly on ice. looking for the double play ball to end it. Gets it. Can you count it? 6. Can you count it? 4. 3. That ends it. The Jays go on to celebrate. So Toronto heads into the postseason on your favorite role, the winning kind with or without the seeds, with victories, though, for sure, to the tune of 13 of the last 15. Now grab your rain gear. We're going in.
No matter how many times you come here, it's still the best feeling you can possibly have as a ball player.
I think if we can stay healthy and keep our pitchers healthy and our guys healthy, and I think we have an excellent chance to go back and do it again. I'd love to be there. I'd love to do it again. Hey, give me some warm water. All right. Great.
To go into the stretch and win 13 out of 15 ball games and in the clutch, in the crunch time, I mean, that shows the character of this ball club. And this ball club knows what the job is, and now we've got 8 more victories we're concerned about.
Blue Jays doing the exact opposite of backing in. Remember, back, if you will, to September 10th. Toronto and New York tied for the top spot. Baltimore was only a half game out. Pitching down the stretch, probably the biggest difference. The Jays' ERA since the 10th, 2 runs better than that of the Yanks and the O's. Craig.
5-3 Toronto, bottom of 7, 1 man on. It's Paul. McDowell delivers. Molitor gets a hold of this one way back to left center. Gone. 2-run homer. 7-3 Blue Jays. Blackjack a bust in his first postseason start. Oh, Canada. 2 Jays, and Scott Radinsky is on in relief of Kirk McCaskill. The first batter he faces Devon White. To left. He leaps and he can't get it. 4-2 Jays. Bottom 9th, 2 out. 6-3. Dwayne Ward facing Tim Raines for the ALCS.
Ward comes set. The pitch. A swing and a fly ball to right field. This is going to do it. Joe Carter's under it. He's got it, and the Blue Jays are going back to the World Series. Out they come from that first base dugout, out to the pitcher's mound, where they are mobbing Dwayne Ward.
Mobbing Dwayne Ward, also around Dave Stewart. The Jays, the first repeat AL champion since the Yankees in '78. Stewart, past Hall of Fame pitcher, Catfish Hunter for the most innings pitched in the playoffs. The Jays celebrate on Chicago turf for the 3rd time in the series.
Oh, this feels great. This is what it's all about. You know, you work hard to get to this position, and you know when you win it just feels fantastic.
When it's been this far in between appearances, it's something that you savor, and I know that tonight will be a nice celebration for this team and well deserved.
Everybody thought that we didn't have enough pitching and enough power to go all the way, and this year we proved a lot of people wrong, and we're real happy that we won this year.
Stu looked great. I mean, he was not nervous one bit. I mean, he's a guy that's been through the fire the whole time. He's a big money pitcher. I call him the Michael Jordan of baseball, and for those 7th games, those big games, you want him out there.
It seems that people are still blinded by the things that I'm able to do on the baseball field at this time of year. Maybe it takes retirement and to be away from the game a while and the numbers to really stick out for people to say that, you know, when it was postseason, Dave Stewart was the man.
The main thing is that we're here. Oh, this guy's, I know I'm gonna catch a cold.
And they all made the show. Dave Stewart, he's established himself as one of the best big-game pitchers ever. Joe Carter compared him to Michael Jordan. They do not want him to retire. In games to clinch, he's a cinch. 4 starts, 4 wins. In just over 30 innings, he's given up 6 runs, an ERA of 1.78. Lead. Bottom of 5, Devon White. Devo. Crack that whip. Unloads on Schilling, deep to right. Game tied at 4. Kurt Schilling upset. Next inning, John Ulrich. Not the splendid splinter. Talented toothpick. The sweet swing to right off Schilling. Jays take the lead for good 5-4. Schilling, 6 is back for Henkin. Top of the 3rd, still 3-0. And it's Molitor again. Deep to left, and Cavilla watches it leave. And even Olerud says maybe that was the right.
Jays, bottom of the 5th, 4-1 Jays. Molitor takes Mulholland deep to left, and this time it does get out into the upper deck. 5-1 Jays. At that point, a 5 lead. Bottom of the 9th. Tension rising with Mitch Williams facing Joe Carter. Runners on 1st and 2nd, and Mr. Carter goes deep to left for only the 2nd time in World Series history. The home team wins it with a home run, and the last at bat, the Phillies go down with a gallant effort. Jays win 8-6. They're back-to-back champs. The first time the World Series was won on Canadian turf. Remember, last year, the Jays clinched in Atlanta. Dwayne Ward with a scoreless 9th for the win.
Joe Carter is the hero, Paul Molitor the MVP.
I think this turned out to be the best game of the series, the way the Phillies came back. And, of course, Joe's dramatics there in the bottom of the 9th inning. Just a very, very sweet win and a great moment for myself after waiting all this time. I even got a little emotional when we were in the pile there, but more than anything, you got to appreciate this feeling because you never know when it might come along again.
There was one thing I learned from this series, that's Paul Molitor can hit. That's as good a team on paper as you're going to get, but we got by them, and like I said, Toronto just had too much offensive weapons. The one thing did occur to me, I did look up and say the 7th inning, I better do something. It's time.
You know, it's not going to sink in until probably maybe 3 or 4 months from now, but I'll take my time and see what it's like.
These guys are defending world champions, you know. We battled our ass off against them. We had some great games. We had pitchers duels, we had football scores and everything else. And that was a pretty exciting series.
That's a vast understatement. 16 years in the majors, 15 of them all with the Brewers, 15 of them, I should say, with the Brewers. And Paul Molitor will finally get all the respect and attention he richly deserves. He is the first to have 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 homers in the same World Series. He had an incredible postseason, scoring 17 runs while driving in 13. MVP numbers any way you look at it, and he has no doubt secured a spot for himself in Cooperstown.